Hello and welcome back to Broker Insights. This is Michael Berger with Broker Insights and Cooper Sotheby's International Realty in San Antonio, Texas. So there's probably about three things that I want to kind of go over today. First off, I want to talk about my channel and how I'm going to make it more of a Texas-centric channel. I've been a broker in Texas for about 25 years and I have a lot to bring. A lot of information, and I want to make sure that I'm not trying to tell people in New York or Florida or other parts of the country information about the real estate market where I don't have knowledge or understanding of those markets, the laws, the rules, the regulations. You can also hear an apology from me because the last video I made, I went back and re-watched it. And I realized that the audio was terrible. So I apologize for that. Do not go watch the crypto video. And okay, and then the main topic for today. Let's pause. Okay, I'm back. I took a break to review the audio on that take because I'm standing here apologizing for the previous video's audio. And I didn't know how good this audio was going to be. So I think I sound okay. Leave some comments below if my audio is better. Again, do not go watch the video about crypto and real estate and how Christie's, I think, has developed a whole department in their business to handle real estate transactions in cryptocurrency. I talked about how silly that was, but it's neither here nor there. Okay, so today's topic, I want to spend a little bit of time focusing and talking about buyer's cost. I know I work with a lot of buyers. My wife, Gina, I'm the contract guy who takes care of the contracts for her. She's the face, the lead agent, and she is the face of the team. My job is working with buyers and sellers that we have under contract and seeing the contract from contract to close, making sure everything stays together, making sure that the buyer's or seller's interest is protected, and taking care of business. So a lot of times when we get buyers, they're wondering what their closing costs are going to be. And it seems like over the past 25 years, I have always heard people talk about closing costs and they lump them all together and they say your closing costs are going to be X. But I've realized that that really needs to be broken down. And so I break it down into four categories. I break them down into sunk cost, closing cost, lender cost, and then the cost of ownership. And I'm going to spend a quick minute on each one to make it clear. So when a buyer, at least in Texas, puts a property under contract, they expel some dollars up front during the process before they even get to the closing table. And most of those are sunk cost. The only dollars that are protected by the terms of the agreement is the earnest money, which is typically about 1%. That's what it is here in San Antonio. I believe that to be true in Austin, Dallas, Houston, wherever in Texas. Typically, 1% is the normal earnest money, which is generally refunded 100% of the time to the buyers if they terminate the contract based on the terms of the agreement. Okay, now what are the costs associated with buying a property that fall under the sunk cost? The first one would be the option fee. Most buyers, when they purchase a property or place it under contract, do secure an option period, which is generally between 8 to 12 days. And then option fees can run anywhere from $5 to $20 per day. So to make it easy, we're going to have a 10-day option period with a $10 a day option fee. That fee does go to the title company. That's $100 for 10 days. That goes to the title company. And if the contract ends up terminating prior to closing and the buyer terminates per the terms of the agreement, those $100 do go directly to the seller because the buyer's actually buying the option period, the right to terminate, which is also known as a feasibility period in commercial. That's where they're doing the exploration, getting their inspector, their property inspector, bug inspector, Uncle Rufus, anybody they want to come over and preview the property, inspect the property, and gain new knowledge. Now, the other items that fall under sunk cost would be any appraisal. If you were to hire any specific inspectors, such as getting an HVAC guy over there, getting a plumber, the termite guy, all of the dollars and cents that you spend to make the decision to buy the property are what I call buyer sunk cost. When you get to the closing table, you're going to have 3 additional sets of cost. The first one is going to be what I truly call the closing cost. And I use that phrase specifically because that's the cost of closing on the transaction. Every buyer, whether it's a $10 million ranch, a $50,000 condo, no matter what it is in Texas, everybody pays about $1,000. And now my numbers are rounded, they're estimates, but the title company will probably have a $500 to $800 escrow fee that they charge that is on top of the title insurance. So the buyer will have the escrow fee. They're going to have some attorney's costs. The attorney does not represent them, but somebody gets paid to draw up the documents. They're going to have recording fees, courier fees. They're going to have just the fees associated with closing on the purchase of the property. And I don't care if you're paying with goats or dollars or getting a loan. All of it is going to boil down to the fact that you're closing on the transaction, and there's going to be about $1,000 in closing cost. Included in there is even a $5 per side, I think it's a transaction fee that the state of Texas collects. So, okay, second cost is the closing cost. That's about $1,000. The third set of costs associated with the transaction, if you're getting a loan, would be lender cost. And those are the ones that can really add up pretty fast. A buyer getting a loan is probably going to be paying about a 1% origination fee on the amount of the loan. The second thing they're going to be paying is underwriting fees, junk fee, junk fee, junk fee. All of the things a lender will charge to provide the loan. And those can add up to probably about 2 to 3% of the loan amount. Again, not the purchase price. So if you're buying a $500,000 property and you put $200,000 down, then that 2 to 3% is tied to or associated with the $300,000 loan. Excuse me. The fourth set of cost associated with being a buyer purchasing a property would be the cost of ownership. And those include everything from buying 1 year of property insurance, homeowners insurance up front. If you have your lender structure the loan where he has a collection of escrows, then he's probably going to collect anywhere from 3 to 6, maybe 8 months of prepaid property taxes. He's going to establish an escrow account with a couple of months of homeowners insurance for when that renewal comes up in 12 months. He'll have a bucket of money to pay for that renewal. And then a couple of other things, but not really of any significance. So let's recap the 4 things associated with buying a property as a buyer, your 4 sets of cost. And they are your sunk cost, the cost of deciding to buy the property. The second set are the actual closing costs. That's what the title company charges you to close the transaction. And that can and will include, again, the escrow fee, attorney's fees, recording fees, courier fees, the state of Texas fee, all of that stuff. Again, that's about $1,000. The third set of costs are the lender cost. And those include everything from the loan origination fee, underwriting fee, junk fee, junk fee, junk fee. There's my dog right there. You can see Mila laying down on the step. And the fourth set of costs associated with the with the closing as a buyer are the cost of ownership. You have the costs associated with buying the property, and as an owner of a property, you will be paying homeowners insurance. You will be paying things associated with, say, either saving or establishing an escrow for the renewal and payment of your property taxes, so the escrows. Those are the 4 sets of costs associated with buying a property. I hope you have found this helpful. As I said at the beginning, I am restructuring my channel. I am 4 videos into my channel. This is video number 5. My next video is going to be on seller cost, because it is not free to sell a property. It's going to cost you a bucket of money. And there's my other dog, that is Ellie, going down the stairs. Okay, so the seller has a lot of cost. We're going to cover that in the next video. And if you have any comments, leave them below. One of the things I implore of you is, because this is a new channel, I don't have a solid direction. I know that it is a Texas real estate centric channel, but I really want input from you. Give me ideas of what you want to hear about the real estate market, and I'll make a video. Comment, like, subscribe, do all that stuff below, and you have a great day.